And the dirtiest girl, the nurse came in and looked at everyone's head to check for lice. And then the nurse was like, all right, cool, I'm done. Lindsay, can you come with me? And everyone's like, ugh, Lindsay smells.
And then you go home and like your parents don't even know how to handle it because like they would get bullied too. Like, you know what I mean?
So I wanted to get your guys' opinion on something that happened to me recently.
Stuff always be happening to you.
It does. It really does. And I need guidance because I'm like, am I the crazy person?
Okay.
Or what's the deal? I was eating breakfast with someone and I said the statement, I would like you to accompany me at this said event. And then the girl goes, why do you talk like that? And I said, what did I say? She said, oh, why didn't you just say, oh, join me? Like, you want to join me? Why did you say you want to accompany me? And I was like, I don't know. It's just how I speak. And then today I said to someone, will you be available to FaceTime tonight? They said, why you sound so formal? Is formal speaking out now?
Yeah, I'm going to say we live in a world where lingo and slang is just in. And both of these humans, they're younger than you.
They were younger than me.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot younger or?
I don't know how old they were specifically.
Yeah.
But they were younger than me for sure.
Well, I'm sure just everybody in their friend group, their friends, they definitely don't talk just formal the way you speak. Mm-hmm. And yeah, when you say that, that just shows you how much nobody speaks like that to them already. So you sound like a wild card. Like, who is speaking like this, bruh? Yeah, you're supposed to throw in some bruh. You got to throw in some other.
I have to like dumb myself down.
Yeah, you have to almost go like, you trying to go out eat? Really? I'm dead ass. You're going to have to like just keep up with the youngsters, I guess.
I'm like, I would appreciate it if you would accompany me at this place. Whoa. Well, all right.
You sound foreign.
You'll find the lady that appreciates your vernacular, you know?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think you're just on a different wavelength. And
yeah, maybe that helps you separate the girls, you know, you should be talking to.
Because I don't think you need to stoop lower and have to dumb yourself down just to fit in. Like, if that girl's only going to like you or it seems normal to speak as such, then I don't think you should be doing that.
It's almost painful to have to actively dumb yourself down, or not even dumb yourself down, just change the way that you deliver your message so that it can not hurt someone's brain.
Yeah, and it's like, do you want to be with someone where you have to dumb down your conversation each time?
No.
So did she end up accompanying you, or?
She did accompany me.
Okay.
And had a bad attitude the whole time, so that was it.
So she didn't mind your formalness?
And she was a smart person, like in this grad program, like dentistry, like high-level smarts thing.
You ever heard the phrase, girls just want to have fun?
Yeah.
Girls want to hear fun. They don't want to hear you speaking. They do the proper dentistry stuff, speak formal in class, and then when you're talking to them outside of that, they don't want to think like that.
Yeah, maybe they just want to, they like you, so they want to flirt with you, you know? So it's like when you say, hey, can you accompany, are you available at this time? It's like they probably want to hear something different.
Yeah, they thought you were going to seduce them or something, and you're over here
just being normal.
It's like, why are you trying to set up a meeting with me?
I'm someone who appreciates like the art of conversation and using certain words. Like that's why even on here I'm like, oh, I want to say a new word of the day, because I find that to be interesting. 99.99% of people don't give a rat's ass. It's kind of just like, get the info. Why did you sound so formal saying it? Well, stop using that word. And it's like, I'm not even trying to use superfluous words. I'm just trying to use words that you guys catch that?
It goes to show that everyone's on different wavelengths. Like I remember like hanging out with this girl, but I would say jokes that were like really funny in my head at least, or I know that someone else would laugh, and she just didn't understand or didn't even.
They weren't surface level jokes.
She was waiting for the surface level jokes, I'm thinking, but
she wanted that dad joke, and you.
I was like, oh man, it's almost not even fun to hang out with someone that's like doesn't comprehend things like that, because then you can't banter and just other things that come with, you know, getting into a relationship or something like that. I'm
trying to bring back like more eloquent dialogue. Maybe I'll start a little movement of sorts. This is a question that I thought was funny that someone asked. What's our opinion on people who quit their jobs to go live on TikTok and beg for gifts?
That's so popular now.
Is it still making bank? Like, are people still doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because then I feel like you have a shot, but I just feel like there's a lot of people that think they have the personality to do it and don't. You have to have the certain type of personality and craziness to stay dedicated to that.
But it's like you never know. Like you said, I think you have a shot now more than ever because everyone's blowing up. You have people that are famous and getting money that shouldn't be. And
I wouldn't say like if you were at your job, I don't know what the scenario is for whoever does this, and you see people there going, I just heard that guy made that much money on TikTok Live. Wait, what? Oh, fuck this. I'm going to quit and go do that. That should not be.
Yeah,
you got to be studying it. You got to be like seeing, okay, which type of person are you going to be on this platform?
have somewhat of a plan, I would say, because I say a lot of people, or I see a lot of people that go into social media with no plan, and they're just like, well, yeah, I seen someone else do it, so I'm gonna try to do it. There's a lot of ways you can make money now on TikTok. Like live shopping now is a thing.
Yeah, live shopping. I've seen.
How does that work?
So it's like, say I'm selling this mic, right? And it'll have like a link on the bottom of my live stream, like saying you could buy the mic, but I think I get commission through each sale, so I get like maybe like a certain amount of percentage.
Wow.
But then if they see how good the quality of the mic is, and they get to see the product live, it's like, damn, now you have 300 live people that could sell the product.
And are these people like just going all in on one product the whole live, or are they switching products? So are you
I've
going to
seen
do
people
the mic?
switch products. Like sometimes I seen this guy do like a hair loss product, but he like built the story, so it was like smart marketing. So he would like make stories about his hair before he started even selling the product. So maybe he had the plan to sell the product, but first he made the storyline where it's like, oh, I'm someone that's struggling with hair loss, and then 5 videos later, after he's gotten 100,000 views or whatever, he's now selling a product for hair growth.
See, that guy sounds very smart. Sounds very
smart,
calculated. Yeah. He didn't just hop on live and start selling his product.
That's why it's like there's different ways to make money now, even, and people are like finding strategic ways. Some people are getting lucky where some people that just look good and people are sending them money just because they look good. Some people are just popular because of the way they act and their outrageous actions and things like that. So
no, I saw a girl on Instagram. She just kind of like yells at the ladies and tries to tell them what they need to be doing to be successful. And I was like, she's not selling a course.
Kendra G?
Not her. But then I went to her link tree and I clicked on it, and it literally is just a $2,000 flat rate 1 hour call that just says, get your life together, sis. And that's how she makes all her money. Is she
a private call?
Yep, one private call where I guess she can give you all the answers, but she just makes all these advice videos, and she's very strong with her words, and they get tons of views. And I'm like, she don't got no products, no course, but there is somebody that is paying these $2,000 flat rates to get a call with this woman that can fix your life. I'm not gonna get mad because I'm not paying $2,000, but damn, I guess respect to her that you're able to convince people that you know all the answers, and you are thriving off Instagram Reel videos just to funnel that to that crazy ass payment. So if you do something right and consistently do it,
I've noticed you can monetize anything, really.
So this is making me think when they ask the question of people who are begging for, and for those who don't know, the concept is people go on live on TikTok, and
the only way to make money is for people to send you gifts, which cost money.
Yes. So you're on there and you just have to essentially beg for send a galaxy, send a galaxy, send a rose.
Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the galaxy.
What if, let's assume you could work at In-N-Out and you have your little hat on in the fucking clip and a red apron, or you could sit on Instagram, beg for galaxies. Come on, can I get a galaxy? Can I get a rose? What if you were making the same amount of money? Which would you rather do?
Well, I guess one you get to do in the comfort in your home, and the other one you have to show up. So
I don't know if I would beg though. Like I would find a way to
be
go live and have goals, right? So like people like want to donate and give you certain amount of things if you have like a goal in mind where it's like it's more than just begging, right? So I was trying to figure out a way to do it without begging.
Come on, rose.
Like I try to entertain the audience in a way where I would want them to.
So what if you did that method, but then you did the method where you begged and you made twice the amount? Then what are you doing?
But yeah, what is begging looking like? Like, please send a rose.
But like, what if
when
you beg, you just get more? That's where it's like,
I don't want to be online like clip me begging. Like,
well, it's different because you've already established as a creator. If you were starting from ground up,
if no one knew me, like I'll beg.
Like you do like a tripod like above your face, 0.5. Please send me a rose, send me a rose. Like you'd have to get funny and creative with it, but you'd have to understand that. Yeah, if you're using your regular TikTok account that has already maybe accumulated all your family friends and high school peers or college peers or coworkers,
you can make a new account, I guess.
It's like if people are paying and doing it, it's like, why not? It's like, damn, I'm watching this lady get all of these gifts for what, and who is she, and like, why can't I get that?
That's
You know?
true. You can look at it that way, like, well, if she can do it.
And there's nothing special about this live that I'm watching, and somehow she has 1,000 concurrent viewers.
And it's like, if she just made $1,000 today, and I've just been watching TikToks, it's like, damn.
I mean,
should've just went
what's the difference
live.
between that versus like I'll see the videos where big streamers will go donate to small streamers. There are people that have been on their computer for 4 hours straight with 2 viewers, and they're playing video games or ranting in their bedroom. It's like those people are essentially doing the same thing, hoping to get somebody to sub to them, and they're starting at literally nothing.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Am I begging?
Are you begging or are you working at In-N-Out?
But they're making the same amount of money.
Same amount of money.
What are the hours? Is it less? Is it
9 to 5.
Damn. I was gonna say if it was 4 hours of doing the TikTok
I'm
live,
changing my answer.
but then 8 hours.
Because In-N-Out is hard, bro. I be seeing them
if I was
slaving.
making like triple the amount, then I'd do the begging. But if it's the same amount, like I'm not
Same
gonna
amount
put
and
my
same duration.
integrity on the
That-
line.
That's
Yeah, same duration, same amount. So you're changing it to.
I'm changing it to working at In-N-Out.
well. Then I would do it and out. At least I could have just people to talk to, and I would feel a little more sane in my head. Yeah, it'd still be hard, but I would do it as a stepping stone where I would just be saving up and working here. I would just push
Because
through.
how do people view you when you're the guy that begs for money online? Like you're an online panhandler, in a way. What's different than a guy at the gas station saying, "Hey, can I have $1?" People are doing the same thing on TikTok. Hey, can you send me a lion? That's like $300, or I don't know, whatever these gifts are. And TikTok makes it fun where it's like, yeah, it's like a community here. Like that's all like subscribe, and that's also like $5, or you could set it to however many you want to charge. However much you want to charge per month or whatever.
That's it. There's a public perception of what you're doing, which is you're corny. Oh, let's say Noah starts begging for galaxies.
I want to do it as a test to see how people freak out.
Oh, you're corny, but then it's like, then you make $50,000.
In like 6 months or some shit.
Well,
It's
is
like-
that corny? To what level are you willing to embarrass yourself for a certain amount of money?
That's what I need to figure out. I need to know what the median is. I don't know who's sharing that, but same way on YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, everything. There's the top 1% people, OF, but like, what's the median on like the general amount of majority of people that are on TikTok lives? Is it enough to live off of?
But then again, it's so much content out there right now, and so many people doing the live stuff, so many people doing crazy things and embarrassing themselves. Is anyone even going to remember an embarrassing thing you do today that's going to make you $400 in 2 hours?
That's your thing about
you're right.
the 400 people watch you can be like, this guy's fucking ridiculous. But then there's the other 7 billion people on the earth that don't even know you're on live right now and aren't
Yeah.
watching you.
Correct.
Same way on my Twitter, like, yeah, I'll be seeing clips of like all the famous Twitch streamers, Kai Cenat, Playboy Mac, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a whole bunch of people that probably don't see that stuff on their feed, and they don't even know that they're even doing this shit. And why am I seeing this guy set this thing on fire, bother people at Walmart? So
So it's like, well, yeah, why not run it up and get some money and embarrass yourself? Are you really embarrassing yourself?
Yeah, because embarrassment, it's your choice if you want to be embarrassed. I'm over here. I'm just begging for galaxies, and I ain't embarrassed.
And people are sending them. It's like,
I
damn,
would-
they
we
should
gotta.
be embarrassed.
I want to. I want to interview a TikTok live star. I want to interview somebody that's doing it very
Yeah.
well. If you guys know any popular ones that are on their creators that are on there every day, comment
I
them
guarantee
down.
you, there's people making more money than all of us combined doing TikTok live.
Now, what if we all lost everything? All YouTube, Instagram, everything demonetized. You're canceled, whatever it is. And
I'll be
you,
live.
You
but I
hop on
won't
TikTok
beg.
live, but it's starting to make you enough to live. Are you going to do that, or are you going to try to figure out something else and start up?
I'll do that and like see how I can scale it up, but I'm not begging though. You're not gonna count.
Rob's all about it. He just has to find a
Yeah, I'll be the best TikTok live streamer, but I ain't begging for no galaxy.
random story. I remember we were freshmen in college, and I found a Rice Scum stream. And I remember I paid $5 for him to say my name, Noah Boat, and he said it. And I remember I just had like this euphoric feeling. So I did it more as like a fan. But I remember I was like, wow, I went to PayPal, $5, clicked send, and there's like, thanks for the whatever, Noah Boat, and that was it. And I just remember I saw it, and it made me feel happy. So maybe if people get that enjoyment out of a random person, that's different. Rice Scum was Rice Scum. Mm-hmm. This is just Molly down the street.
Yeah.
In a room.
So that's why people find creative ways to like, you'll see a video on your feed where it's like, join my live right now. I'm going to shave off all my hair.
Yeah.
And they have to get people to go in there because they don't have a name or whatever.
So what are you doing, Ryan?
Man,
Ryan's pouring syrup on his head. For every new viewer that joins, I'm gonna squirt another syrup on my head.
Don't join.
Don't join.
Don't join! You guys want it!
Do you think you could get yourself to act like that if it
I
would pay
couldn't.
twice the amount of the In-N-Out money?
If I'm keeping it a stack, I don't think I could. There are things that I won't do for money. Like, oh, if you gave me $10 million to do XYZ, I'm not doing it. Just because I would argue that I just have this certain, you could call it morals, or just like, this is my line that I just won't go past. Now, if the money becomes 500 trillion and I can save my entire community and whatnot, okay, maybe then the morals start shifting a little bit. But if it's for a what I would argue is a negligible amount of money, where it's double my in and out pay, I think I'll just do in and out, and I won't be pouring the syrup and ketchup on my head, because that would be humiliating, and like, what's the word? Defaming myself for money just seems, I don't think I would sleep with myself at night, whereas I could sleep with myself at night being, working the cashier check at Staples. No shade to the Staples workers, but yeah, I got to be able to sit with myself and be like, I'm okay with this. Because what's worse than isn't that effectively selling your soul? Isn't that what that is?
Yeah,
You are selling your soul by
if
doing
you're going that route where it's like, yeah, you're really just embarrassing yourself and doing these crazy things just for views. Yeah, but if you're not gonna design your stream in a way where you're entertaining them or doing different goals and stuff like that, because that's honestly the same thing. They're saying, oh, if I get a certain amount of subscribers or a certain amount of gifts in this category, I'll, I may not pour syrup on my head, but I'll drop a song, or they'll incentivize it in different ways where it's not as like embarrassing or
Soul selling
in a way. But at the same time it is, but they just, cushion it with just like different ways. I think that's what makes streaming so cool, because you can incentivize people to pay in different ways. At the end of the day, they're tipping you, but it's like, well, you can tip with a little gift and it pops up with the heart on the screen. You can, you could donate a sub to someone else, which that gives you notification to the viewer of like, or to the streamer that you did something. So it's like, they make it fun in a way to give people money.
Yeah, that's more palatable, more
palatable. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. This is a little segue here into a relationship topic, and it was something I spoke with a friend about recently, which I thought was interesting. I wanted to get your guys' takes on it. Whenever people reference an ex that they dated, some of us who have been lucky enough to have another person like us, it is popular, or it is normal, to sort of shit talk your ex once you're out of the relationship. It's always, oh, how's your last relationship? Oh, they were toxic. My ex was at XYZ. My ex was a piece of shit. My last relationship was shit. I don't really hear people say stuff like, my last relationship was awesome. I've never really heard those actual words that I just said. So the concept I'm speaking about is, why do people only acknowledge the negative things that their ex person did for them? They never acknowledge the amazing times and the amazing things that person did. I thought that was a sad thing, and I was like, you know what? That's so true.
What depends, who are we talking to? Are we talking to our friends, or are we with somebody else? Are we talking to like a new person in the dating field, like a new girl? And I'm just going to start listing off all these amazing things about the old girl, and like, why the fuck would you want to hear that?
Both. I think a group of friends, let's say it's like I don't know, you're at a bar, it's friends, there's no one that you're trying to date, and they're like, oh, where's your ex? Mm-hmm. People won't, you know what? She was a great girl, but XYZ. Mm-hmm. And the same with when you meet a new person that you're on a date with. Oh, how many relationships? This and that. What happened to your last relationship? Oh, my ex, he was a controlling piece of shit, or whatever, different excuse. And I guess I thought that was sad, because there probably are a lot of amazing things that the other person did, or maybe everyone paints the ex as the bad person always. No one ever says, oh, the relationship didn't last. I was a piece of shit.
But I think it's not as much as them painting them as the bad person, but them wanting to be the good person in the situation. And the moment you say they were good and nothing's wrong, like, the person you're telling will almost view you as like, then you might be the issue, like you might be the problem. So everyone just wants to be the person that's, because it was good. It's like, especially if you're not together, it's like, yeah, I don't even want to remember the good stuff, because that's gonna fuck with me emotionally anyways. So it's like, yeah, it's just all bad.
Yeah, and also I don't like going off of that, I don't even know how much I can believe of the person saying that, because I don't know who they were to that person in a relationship either. I can only go off of them if they want to shit talk. I have to just assume that's what it is, but I also don't know how equally they could have treated that person too. But
For me, I think about well, yeah, you're talking all this good stuff about them too, but then you guys aren't together anymore. And I don't know, most people, I guess, wouldn't say mutually fall out. There's always like something goes wrong. So then everybody just kind of only focuses on that part.
Yeah, it's pretty rare to be like friends with your ex. I don't know a lot of people that you do see that and hear that, but it's not as common as, a bad fallout or I don't speak to them at all, no contact since.
I think also there's a point to where you can be with somebody for so long to where maybe the first couple of years or months, I don't know how long everybody's dating there, whatever, was so good, and then the last half it just sucked so much more on the tail end, and it's like you kind of almost forgot the first half
and it's like I could recognize my own faults too that happened in the relationship. So I can say that I've never talked bad about really anyone that I've been with, just because it's like, well, I know I've done bad too, and it's just like I would rather focus on the good or whatever, and be like, okay, let me take the good stuff that happened in that relationship and apply it to, my life now and or even the bad stuff. And I learned from that.
Wait, everybody wants to look like the good person. So
Yeah.
you want to make yourself look better by saying it.
You
They're
wanna
bad,
come
they're
across.
crazy, they're the bad person. And then they're like, yeah, you deserve better. Yeah, somebody like that doesn't deserve you. Like, I think everybody just wants to feel more important than the other person that obviously you're not going to see because you're not there.
Because I'm sure their spill would be different if both parties were in the room. They wouldn't say
that's
certain
right.
things.
Yeah.
that
Because
they
then
would
you
be
know that
saying.
person has equal amount of
leeway to say their side of the story, and then shit just don't pan out. But
Yeah, that's a bar too. They're not gonna talk the same about their ex if their ex was next to them.
People love to lie and just dramatize any sort of story.
Let's do the cut, truth or drink. Put both of the exes at the table, ask them the same questions of what happened, why it didn't work. Stuff might get heated.
And talking to like moms that were single and whatnot. And I'm like, oh, what happened? And he did this and that, and then he did this. I'm like, and why'd you have 2 kids with the guy? He sounds pretty terrible. Well, I was stupid.
Nah,
It's like, all right, bro.
there's a lot of people with like unhealed trauma and just
And they like to
have so many
vocalize
holes in
yeah.
themselves where they go back to all their bad mistakes and they're set in their ways, and it's almost easier to complain about it than own up to it. So
That's what I told myself. I'm gonna do less complaining, just in general.
there's definitely outbursts I've had in relationships that cause bad arguments, and I think there's times where I've seen my parents have outbursts when I was a kid, and I feel like I was almost imitating the same thing that I probably witnessed, and I'm like, wait, that's kind of how my mom or my dad would react in X situation, and it's kind of ingrained in me because I've just been videotaping, recording everything I've been seeing.
Isn't that crazy? Like the way we act and the way we are is just a product of things we've experienced and different sort of trauma. And some people were able to overcome the trauma and work past that. Some people it still attaches them with everything they do.
That's why there's successful people, they're still unhappy because of whatever they haven't pushed through or accepted, and it's like, damn.
Some
but
people
you-
have
but you've done so
ADHD
well.
or more anxiety, like we were talking about last podcast. You can notice some people do different twitches, or it's like you don't know what causes that really, but everyone has different experiences.
that's what PP said on the one podcast with us, which I took note of, was that like you don't know what people's triggers are. So like you could say something that you thought was
super harmless, and that boom is a trigger that can just throw somebody in a spiral.
Because I was thinking about it, like sometimes I'll catch myself like my knee will be shaking, and I wouldn't realize it, and someone will be like, "Why is your knee shaking?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really know the root of that." And I'm just like, "Okay, shit, I'll stop."
That's
like,
true.
It's not nothing where I can pin a finger on why was I doing that? There's certain things like that where people maybe show different things or say act up in certain ways where it's like they don't even realize.
You're making me think of something where people usually point to something in their childhood, like something happened in this person's childhood, and that's the reason they act the way they do. And I've seen that before, like, oh, my younger brother's really quiet because I heard this before. Some guy was telling me my younger brother's the quietest of all 3 of us because that's when our parents were going through a big divorce and always fighting and had problems. And he got to witness that when his brain was super young and malleable, and now he doesn't speak up because of what he witnessed when he was super young. And I was like, damn, that's deep. But then I also think, what about the people, like, I would argue I have little to no trauma at all whatsoever. So then it's like, I can't even point to shit where it's like, oh, you're doing this. What happened when you were younger? Did this happen? I'm like, actually, no, like, Everything was great. I guess I don't even have an exact point I'm making here. I was just like, sometimes things might be your genuine personality, and then some things stem from unresolved family trauma. And
now I'm thinking about it, like, I guess does all trauma have to be bad per se? Like, because now I'm thinking about it like, yeah, you saying you don't think you had any trauma, but is there any way that you have but haven't realized or something? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes I feel like a lot of people don't like, because I mean, I'm asking myself this too, because I feel like I can't pinpoint a certain thing that happened in the past, or things that I do now that trigger me to say, oh, I think I act this way because something happened. What was I saying? I was going to finish my thought, but I totally forgot what I was talking about.
let me remind you, you were talking about
is there trauma that both of you guys that you can't even see, but you actually have something that is attached to you that make you act away, but you can't pinpoint it because you don't think you do.
And it's just normal to you, right? But it's like
that could very be true, because there's a lot of people that bad things will happen to them and they didn't even realize that was a problem until they're so much older, or they say it to somebody else where they're like, I didn't know it was that bad.
And like maybe people don't even know how to, dissect or even get to a certain point where maybe that could be it,
I mean, this is just a random anecdote, but yeah, there was a guy that was cutting my hair like 2 years ago, and he randomly brought up how like his teacher slept with him when he was a senior in high school. And when he was saying that, two other friends that were there were talking about how cool that was. And I was like, how did that make you feel? He's like, looking back on it, that was actually really messed me up. And he went on to a whole list of a whole bunch of things that it's like, actually, it creates a lot of fear in my head too. Like, I would go to her house and she was very nice to me, but I thought it was super cool in the moment. But like now, I definitely has made me actually not even want to talk to some girls in certain ways. And I was like, oh fuck. And that's something that he was just saying casually, but was able to acknowledge. Like, I think like now, like that's actually done a lot more damage than I even realized then. Which now that one's a case where everybody can go, that's just wrong. But obviously younger him, 17-year-old self, like obviously him, all his boys at the time, like this is the coolest thing ever. But he was like 26 at that time, a couple years ago. And he was saying like, yeah, no, I don't look back at it as a cool thing at all. And it actually has messed me up a lot. And I was like, damn.
Wow.
But then it's like going back to like
what are the things that happen to a kid that's not to that extent that could make you, I don't know.
It's not trauma if you go back and you're like, yeah, I don't have trauma, right? So it's like, well, then you don't have trauma. But then you think about different things in your life where it's like, I'm faulty in certain things in my life or whatever. Say it could be anything, right? When you get to like, what's something in your life where you feel like you can improve on, or you're bad at, or that's a bad habit or something like that. And can that be rooted in some sort of trauma if you really break it down? Yeah. And it's like, where did that stem from? It's like, these are questions I'm trying to figure out too. But
no, when I think about how hard it is for me to adjust to like a stronger diet, I go back to, I had no portion control growing up. I wasn't told you can't eat this, you can't eat that. So when Noah's by himself at home and I open the pantry, I'll eat the whole family size bag of myself, this. And that's made
like, can that be labeled as trauma, right? But it's not like
exactly
more severe trauma where it's like, well, I witnessed my dad beating my mom, or it's like, that's a different sort of trauma. But it's like, can that be trauma where you were taught a certain thing that affected you now? Like,
or I wasn't taught and I didn't self-learn myself. So then when I recognize it later, I'm like, this is actually really hard to do. And I wish somebody would have told me the right way to do this before. So yeah, I wonder, I don't know the exact definition of trauma. So does it have to go with being bad?
Like someone that's overweight and like, their parents didn't teach them any nutrition or anything growing up. Like, can they say they had trauma because they were like trained and like taught in a bad way? And now they have trauma about a certain thing. Like, what can be considered trauma? You know what I mean?
Facts.
Yeah, I think like we were saying, there are things that are traumatic, so it makes sense like, oh yeah, that's trauma. I'm reluctant to call most things trauma. I would rather, because then I think people might take advantage of that term,
like use it as a crutch,
or like as a victim mentality, where people are like, you don't know the trauma I've been through, and it's like they got cheated on in a relationship, and I'm like, oh well,
like everyone's been through trauma.
Okay, well, I mean, that might just that's just like a thing that happens in life that sucks, as opposed to like being beaten when you're.
So then what's the line of like trauma, and what can you consider trauma?
But then there's the people that come out on the other side of trauma, where they had the trauma and they became a stronger, better person too. So like there's people that are like, well, that's because of my trauma. There's other people that were able to take the trauma and have a more positive outlook and just going for stuff with life afterwards. So
There's so many words that people weaponize and then they use it as their crutch and as their victim card. Well, I have trauma. It's like, well, dude,
yeah,
you know what? I feel bad for you.
Do you, or just a little bitch? Like, sometimes,
No, real shit.
Sometimes, like, come on.
At what point is it trauma? At what point are you a Weenie Hut Jr.?
Correct.
And you need to like grow up.
But it's like, yeah, I recognize that trauma is a thing and people are affected by trauma. How can I judge it? Like, how can I say like, oh, that's actual trauma, or that's like, okay, bro, that's not that bad of trauma.
No, really.
You know?
For my own personal headspace, I just think not everything that happens to you is your fault. But once you're an adult, it's your responsibility to fix certain things. So if you got spanked or attacked or whatever, 300% not your fault. But unfortunately, these are the cards you're dealt with, and now it is
Yeah,
your
that can't be your excuse to tell your
responsibility.
boss. That's why I'm late today. Sorry.
Yeah,
I couldn't get the project done because I had.
A nightmare about when I was 3 getting beat. It's like, you can't use that.
And that's where the goal is always to overcome your trauma and go to therapy and get through that so you can operate a life without that sort of, you know, crutch.
Or you discover
handicap.
new hobbies or new vices that are good for you.
And that's where it gets hard because, you know, people are, I mean, mental illness is a crazy topic to even delve into because then you got people taking meds and things like that. Mm-hmm. And it might be easier for us coming from us saying, well, I can't really recognize any trauma, you know, that I had in my life. But it's like, yeah, someone that actually went through trauma, it's like,
Yeah, it's hard because sometimes
I don't know how to overcome it really.
Because then I take back what I said. It's like, how can I judge their trauma if I don't know that that little thing is really affecting them?
So much stronger than I can even comprehend because I didn't go through that.
It's hard to comprehend is the thing.
People should speak to multiple, not just one opinion or like a one psychologist, cognitive behavioral health specialist. Speak to multiple people who are licensed in that field to get different opinions about your issues that you have and go from there. That's
Before you
just,
self-diagnose, because that's also like a trend.
or self-diagnose yourself on Instagram and TikTok. Label yourself a victim and then cry about it for the next 25 years.
Because that's an easy cop-out, yeah. I had trauma about this, so that's why I can't do this. That's why I'm not a morning person. That's why I can't accomplish this. That's why I can't focus on anything.
And it's all his fault and her fault and this and poor me, and that's the end
your
of me.
mentality.
But see, then that's the problem. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Because everybody uses trauma, it almost makes you not want to believe everybody.
Yep,
But you don't know who really, all the Fruit Loops in the bowl, I can't tell which one's the Cheerio. Like it's too much mix going on. And I just have to assume everybody's going through it. Everybody's and it's, like I said, it sucks for people that are taking the meds or legitimately have had the worst traumatic experiences that they're altered forever. And then you have somebody that has something that was so not extreme based off the whole picture of their entire life or their whole childhood. And they're labeling that as that's the issue here.
And then in this day of attention, you got people faking like illnesses and stuff.
But yeah, not even that. Like imagine just texting somebody like, I still can't get my work done because I can't get over my ex or so, like I said, whatever. And then you have all your, you can instantly get gratification and validation from anybody, especially if you don't have any friends. You can, like I said, post that video online. So I think, yeah, that's a problem. Everything's so saturated. It's hard for me I want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but then I don't know the majority. Half of y'all could be fucking lying.
No, that's so true though. It's like, well, show me the prescription. Yes, like
Show me the scar. Like, I need to see proof. Like, I don't know.
Guys, we launched a website where it's basically like another YouTube channel where we're posting all the videos that we can't post on YouTube. You're getting exclusive vlogs, exclusive videos, reactions, everything.
Extra podcasts.
It's effectively another YouTube channel that you guys can become a part of if you go to mystrawberrypark.com and become a member. It's getting rave reviews. Everyone loves it. We want you guys to join the family and become a member. Do it right now. Do it right now. Do it right now. Do it right now.
Back to the pod.
The people that I've spoken to that, in my opinion, have real childhood issues and trauma, they tend to be the people who don't beg for sympathy. Those are the people where I'm like, damn, that I have to actually like pry it out of them to learn more about them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Those are the people I think like that it happened and they move past it.
Well, yeah, they seem to be the strongest people who
Yeah.
aren't looking for handouts, aren't looking for sympathy, aren't looking for, well, give me a free thing because I went through this, and they be going through the craziest shit I've ever heard.
yeah.
And it be the people with the bullshit excuses.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Looking
Yeah.
for the most handouts, looking for the most. Well, you need to be nicer to me
most
because
handicaps for things. Yeah.
yes,
Same. Like I'll say some childhood stories and somebody else has told me some really crazy shit, but they said all casual and I'm like, and you're good?
Look, are you
Everything's
good?
fine? And I'm like, wow. And you have some great accolades that you've on your resume to where you're at right now. And I'm over here like my headspace actually gets thrown off because I couldn't even imagine operating with that thrown at me at whatever age.
I just think it's always good to reach out to people who might be going through something or you don't think are going through anything, just to check on them. I think that's a good way. That's like a good way to be a good friend, because
You never know what that one conversation does to somebody. When people even remember small things about you, or like, yo, whatever happened with this or that, or how you feeling, like that really does go a long way.
Yeah, I feel like people aren't really checking on other people. Not that it's their they don't have to.
Exactly.
You know, everyone's
Not
in it for
every
themselves.
week you're like, fuck, I gotta check on everybody. It's like, no, that's not the case.
But I think a little bit goes a long way. If everyone did a little bit, you
Yep.
know, if you know someone's grandmother passed away, if you know someone's parent passed away, or if you don't know anything, you're just like, hey man, what's up with you?
yeah,
Anything.
Been a minute, just thought about you. How you doing?
That
Like,
goes
it could be
a
the
long way.
smallest combo too, but cool. Glad, bro. Glad everything's smooth on your side. Just wanted to check in.
Because it helps both parties. You know, everyone's struggling. Not everyone is living.
Even if somebody reaches out and says the bare minimum, you're like,
At least they thought of me right now.
Yeah.
and you go, oh wow,
Like that even goes a long way without even recognizing that. Like,
It'd be the tiniest compliments that could really make. And we talked about that last time when
Yep.
the one girl gave me a compliment. I've been floating for 3 months.
if you like some pants or a hoodie or shoes that some guy's wearing, you give the guy a compliment. Or where'd you get that from? That goes a long way too for somebody too, because they get excited about what they put on that day.
what I've been doing that's been making me feel good, and I feel like the people I've been talking to feel better too, is like when someone even asks you like, oh, how was your day, or you know, anything like that, the common answer is like, good, and you know, like
Give them a specific
give
example.
them a specific example, like
Yep.
good, you know, I just had this burger, it made my stomach hurt a little, but like you know, I'm gonna have this, you know, be more in detail with what
Yep.
happened in that day or something, because that'll kind of take them off track. And yeah, it's how you make them feel is what
Yep.
they'll
And
remember.
if you're not
what
having a
they'll
good
hold on
day,
to.
you can say that, but like then get into their day, and then maybe you can turn your brain off by hearing how somebody else's day went. Or if nothing literally interesting happened, just, nothing really going on. But
Nothing going on.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that is a thing. Those annoying formulaic terms that we just use when
the
we meet
default
someone.
setting responses.
Hey man, how you been? Good.
And you?
Good. Meanwhile, inside I'm like, everything's falling apart.
Yeah.
Or like, great, bro, I just closed a crazy business deal and it took me years and it finally happened. Then you go, hell yeah, bro, fucking glad you crushed that. Like,
I crack up because I'm like, I feel like a lot of people, maybe I would argue most people, are going through something and they just can't say, and it's uncomfortable to say what they're actually going through. So you just kind of have to be like, oh, everything's fine. I think it's sad, but it's also funny because when the clerk at the 7-Eleven is like, hey man, having a good day, or like, what's up, man? Yeah, good. Whether it be a friend, the clerk at the grocery store, hey man, how's your day going? Honestly. And it's the guy at fucking Ralph's, and you gotta sit there. Honestly, man, things are falling apart. You can't really say that. Honestly, I need help, brother. He's there bagging your shit.
Like we said, everyone walks around with the mask on.
okay, well, that one's tough because you're just trying to get your food. Yeah.
I guess we could need to throw that term away. Hey, man, how's your day going? Because you really don't give a fuck how their day's going. That's just what people say. Hey, what's up? How you been?
How you doing?
How you doing? You don't actually care how I'm doing.
Yeah, because there'll be strangers sometimes, like, how you doing? And I'll be like, good. Just like, go keep walking, like, are we trying to conversate right here?
Yeah,
But then again, you could have been that person that wanted to have that conversation.
Yeah,
So
and I
there-
could have stopped and said, I'm doing good, man.
Exactly.
Uh,
Or the greatest
Wait,
thing
what are
is
you up
that-
to?
Yeah. Or I just got fired from my job and you don't want to talk about that right now. So you're like, I'm not good.
if you're at a party and you meet up with an old random person, old friend, acquaintance, hey man, how you been? I've been struggling. I'm so glad you asked, dude. I need help. And then
Okay, yeah,
everyone's
that part of
and
that.
then everyone's looking at you, and everyone's it's like, well, you asked how I was.
Because that's also another thing. Like, people won't even say how they feel, or people. That's common for people not to show their emotions, even. So,
But is that something you should do on a first date though? Like I can see where like there's
Well,
times where it's like maybe don't talk.
maybe
about
like
it.
not on a first date or something like that. But
Like if you're cool with that girl or you guys are already talking and then you're telling her and she judges you, that's fucked up. Like that's not cool. But
Like, maybe say how you, but if you say how you really feel, we always tend to go back to this topic of everyone's wearing a mask and everyone's capping and everything's a show.
with everything, so
It
it's
is-
like,
it is a
yeah,
show.
we're gonna keep bringing that up, but it's like, well, yeah,
Because that's what everything boils back to.
It
then we go
does.
back and we're like,
But that's still the norm. Like we were talking about with
the word trauma, like it's
that's
or
just
not
what
trauma,
life
trauma.
is, though. That's just what our life is and what it's gonna be. It's continuously wearing some sort of mask.
Well, yeah, because once this podcast is over and everybody goes back to the room and they look at themselves before they go to bed. Like imagine you just wipe your face quick and you go, like I do at least once a day, and I just.
Well, I'm saying it just as like, okay, without even these clothes, we're just naked bodies of skin and whatever, right? So it's like,
Hey, that's straight
is
up.
this some sort of mask that I'm putting on? Just like, you know,
Yes.
I'm masking my body with something,
It
right?
technically is.
Not technically saying like a mask on my face or how I act, but
But now we have
with everything I do is
culture, society.
who I am.
So it's like this is fashion, but it's also
It's a costume.
it is a
it's
costume.
a costume because subconsciously we're thinking about even how we come across or how we want to say certain words or
It's like we're almost cosplaying our new identity every day. We're going along with this is who I am based off the
Yeah.
previous days.
Yeah,
so now
that's
I'm
what
just
we're doing.
playing that character. Like I wake up like, okay, yeah, my job is to make YouTube videos, to entertain, to keep scaling stuff like this, and I just go along with it. But
there's no right answer,
if
right?
I have another interest, I could put more time to that, and then that can be my new cosplay.
And you see that more often where people will rebrand or do something totally different.
Yeah,
It's
then
'cause
you end
can't.
then you end up at the Grammys wearing a house on your head. Like you just
literally
shit
can't do
gets-
anything you
just
Yeah, you could change your avatar at a moment's notice. Because why not? If you really are feeling like this ain't me anymore, then change it.
Yeah, so it's like, is wearing a mask as bad as we keep like kind of saying? It's like, yeah, to a certain extent, but
Well, then you can feel safe behind whatever mask you want.
it's like you almost should wear a mask in a way because it's necessary in different aspects of life.
It is. To fit in certain areas or circles, you can't be completely yourself.
But it's like, what even is yourself? Or it's like, whatever you pick, even if that's a mask, that's yourself in a way.
And I ask people that question. I'm not sure if we talked about it on here, but I always ask people that question: who are you?
at the root of your soul.
At this,
Who are
your soul. And usually, most people I ask have never thought of that question.
It's a hard question to
It
answer.
is a deep
What
ass
the hell do you
question.
even say?
Because I can't tell you who you are.
Like,
But if you don't know who you are, then it's like there's almost a, well, I don't even want to respect you if you don't know who you are. It's like, fuck, who am I?
so like, who I am is what I do. It's like, what do I
Or
do?
who I am is what I've done. Or who I am is.
But I always say, you are not what you do. You're not your name. You're not where you're from. But there's something that makes you you. And what is that?
Because
Because
all of that makes that you, but
'Cause-
not a certain thing. Not a certain
And
thing.
scientifically, all of our DNAs are completely different to a certain percent. So that makes me different.
like, does my DNA make me?
technically,
Because that's like the thing.
Like,
that's
who am I?
different.
I don't know, whatever this clump of atoms decided to become today.
a lot of people are clones at this point.
I'm me. What would you say though? Like, who are you? Like, what's your answer?
Because then aren't your words just words made up noises?
I just describe myself as my tendencies, as like my character traits and my tendencies. That combination of those things is unique to me. Because I can't say, oh, I'm a YouTuber, because there's a lot of other YouTubers, but they're not me. I don't say, oh, my name's Ryan. There's a lot of other Ryans, which kind of makes me feel weird.
But do you feel like somebody else has the same exact tendencies as you? So then does that even mean?
I have tendencies that other people have, but the combination of mine is what makes mine unique. So like, oh, I'm into this. I act this way. It's like my character.
Like
trait,
somebody
so
could
to
have
speak.
a bit of all that, but all of yours together, there's no way somebody's exactly like that.
Correct. Now there's people with similarities, similar hobbies, similar tastes, whatever, but nothing quite like mine. But it's hard to even put that into terms.
Yeah, because you could break it down even deeper. Like, no one has the same DNA, like what we were saying. So that's what makes you different too, not just the traits and the different things you're into. So it's like, if you break it down, so it's like, well, then your brain is different. Because in that aspect, you can say, well, any decision is like, no one's ever made the same decision ever, like the same.
Yeah,
in
we all have
correspondence.
3 different stories that just happened the past pushing 30 years.
Everything is so customizable.
Your mind is what makes you different.
Your mind, yeah.
Like
That's
even
it.
if us 3 were track stars our whole lives, we all had a different experience that entire time.
But it's like your mind makes you different, but it's like, yeah, like the things you did in your life and the amount of time you had that same mind is what shaped it to be what it is now. That kind of got deep there a little, but
Yeah, and then you got to do a little like pause and zoom out real quick.
you really see how small you are. Like, you're a speck on this.
That's why I hate being like the plane and I look down, I'm like, damn.
No, those science videos where it shows the Earth and it zooms out. And
I
it
hate
shows
that.
the planets, and then I'm like, Earth is that small?
But then they zoom out even more, and then the galaxy we in, there's like 3 other ones outside of those, and I'm like,
Yeah.
But these are the type of conversations I feel like y'all should be having with y'all's friends on the low. Like, these are what's fun. Remember when I was in high school and this like one kid I had sleep over at my house, we were talking about aliens or something. He was like, bruh, I've been trying to talk about this with other people, and everybody told me to shut up. And he was just excited that me and him just talked about fucking aliens, and I was like, probably in 9th grade, and we just talked about aliens for like 2 hours. And I was like, this is fun for me because I don't fucking know.
Yeah, it's fun to talk about stuff you don't know and just to like, I don't
But then
know.
it sucks when they're like, yeah, there's people that, why you want to talk about that? It's like, why not? That's why you got to weave out who can cater towards you. And then that's how you actually find your friends too. Cause
Yeah, you guys are making me think about with just being a spec. Like,
Well, I don't want to do it for too long because then I'll get too deep. I'll just sit here like I'll go have that nihilism feeling where I'm like, what's the point?
and there really is. Well, some would argue, okay. Well, some people are, with their religion, they believe in this, and that's the reason of life. That was a big question that everyone asked. We'll talk about the purpose of life or the meaning of life. When thinking about myself as a spec, that's the most terrifying yet freeing feeling. Is everything that you've ever done will be forgotten very quickly. Hence why people shouldn't care about what others think of them or say about them, because soon enough, everyone who's ever met you or knew you exist will also be gone.
Right. But then people be like, life be short, but then it's like it's also the longest thing we ever get to experience. Yeah, once it's over, you can say it's short, but it's over then. So it's like
And I think that's more said to kind of motivate you in a way where it's like, well, if you have these dreams and aspirations, life is short, so do it now, sort of thing.
On a different topic, best and worst memories from your childhood.
that could be a whole podcast. Oh my God. Again, like I told you guys, I'm in the process of I need to get a notebook, and every age of my life I need to write out as much as I can from that, like big memories, because some stuff fades a little bit now and it scares me, and it's still there. I just got to lock in and like really think about it.
I think what stands out to me is just hanging out with my cousins all the time. Like, we did a lot of things together, whether it was school or sports or practice. So that means we just hung out all day after school. We're making up games outside. We're throwing the ball around. Like, just moments like that, I think I miss the most. Just being a kid, really. I don't know.
I only had like 3 kids my age in my neighborhood. It was so small that I hung out with whoever. They would just come and go, different neighbors I had. But
Just hanging out with them after school, like every day, like looking forward to these kids don't go to my school. So then once I come home, do my homework or don't do my homework and go outside and play. And just, yeah, being able to I lived in the woods, just being in the woods and then just running up and down the neighborhood and just literally just shooting the shit, living in the moment. Like those with no crazy priorities to even have to think about.
I was going to say, I'd be seeing those growing up in the early 2000s, and it's like that music, it's like faint child laughter in the background, and it just shows the images of what the elementary school classrooms would look like.
Oh, man,
or like
that
the
too.
Christmas parties and stuff like that. And I think that
No,
was...
but that's, see, on top of just childhood, now you make me think about all the crazy, great memories of just being in school. Like, there's all the school memories, too.
Like walking into the classroom and seeing the TV set up on the rack right there.
Knowing
You
who's
know
in
it's
your
about to be a good day.
that first day when you don't know who's going to be in your class, the new set of classes, whether it's the girls or the
That
guys.
feeling was crazy.
Damn. Because I think there was like a year, probably like 7th or 8th grade, I was like, damn, me and Ryan got like no classes together. And then I had to just adjust to whoever was else in my class. But
Field trips were always crazy fun.
Man,
Like going on the bus and just like playing on your DS and just
I remember like only one kid had like a iPod, and I'd be like, yo, could I listen? And we would just like listen together. Or we were able to watch Family Guy in like a nanopod or whatever it was, the small one. And I would just be laughing like, damn. But the bus rides too. I rode the bus my entire, all up until senior year, I rode the bus.
everything was just heightened as a kid because you don't have all the stresses that you have now as an adult that kind of weigh over your mind.
Feels like new things happening to you. Obviously, you can create new things, all that. But there's all those first
Experiences that you just never will have again. Your first this, your first that.
one thing that I remember that I liked a lot was whenever there would be like if it was Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day or specifically Christmas, and the class there'd be the party or we'd watch a movie or something. I remember those days being the best. Or I knew, oh, there's a little party tonight after school at the school at this time. I remember that being magical. I remember seeing it snow outside when everyone was at lunch. And we're all like 3rd graders. So the teacher's like, don't, everyone. And they do like a clap, like, and then everyone would have to clap. And then that was the sign to shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all have any?
Well, I didn't have that, but we had something where like the teacher would say something, we repeated it, and that's the...
Yeah, it was like your little thing to get them to get back on track. I remember I was in 5th grade and I had a flip phone, and I was able to download Crank That by Soulja Boy. And I just remember like having that whole song just play on the phone, and I was like showing it to my friends, and I was like, this is insane. I remember just being able to, in gym class, the bouncy dodgeballs, like I'm just going to glaze myself. I always could kick it the highest. And like we would just punt it.
And I swear to God, it would like went to the clouds or something. But
It's still up there to this
it's
day.
still up there. But I remember like just being able to do that, or who was the fastest, like
those simple activities with your peers and classmates. It was just, that was some fun stuff.
I actually had that jotted down here as this topic that I wanted to bring up about the pacer test.
Oh, I actually like that. I looked forward to those, and I think everybody hated them.
Like that to me was so serious.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was like it was no joke.
I don't know how it was in California.
Did you have the pacer test?
I don't think so.
Oh shit, Rob missed
It
out.
wasn't
Like-
called Pacer. What is it?
Like when you go to gym class, start of the year, they do at the beginning and the end. They need to see like how many push-ups you can do, runs.
oh, okay, yeah, maybe we
sit-ups.
did do something like that.
The pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test.
Man.
It's line up at the start.
And there was always kids that were better than me, but I would push myself, and I enjoyed that there was other classmates better because I was like, I know it's gonna be. I'll get to like top 10, but then I'm gonna just push myself. So, and I remember all the girls would be like, ugh. Like I don't think I remember one girl that was ever excited.
And
to
they'd be
pacer
quitting
test.
fast as shit.
They'd be quitting, and obviously it didn't really fucking matter. Or like they would take us to the track field in middle school, and they would like make us run like 100 meter, 200 mile. I love that. I was like, let's go. But yeah, that pacer test, man, it was fucking war when they said, go.
And I'll go to the bell rings like.
Which one was your favorite? Because there's the one that I remember. It was like you had to run back and forth across the gym.
Well, that was it. That
was the one.
That's the pacer test. That one, and it would always be me and Brandon at the end. Brandon was a football star, and it would always be me and him. I think
Mine was me and Jesse. I don't remember his last name, but he wore the glasses.
You know what else was nice as a kid was getting called out of class or going home early.
Oh,
You know, like your mom picked you up for a
or
certain
like
reason.
it like beeps in and it even tells you like Rob Lopez, it's gonna be early dismissal today, and you're like,
I said
see y'all.
that.
And there's like 2 hours left of school, and you're like, I'm out, y'all.
Yeah, just the concept of like not being in school or like being on a field trip while other classes are in session or whatever was always a cool feeling.
there's a memory sticking out to me where the nurse came in and looked at everyone's head to check
the
for lice.
That was elementary school. I
And the
remember
dirtiest girl, I'm not gonna say her name, but
Air it
I'll
out.
just call her Lindsay. She was known as a smelly girl with cats, and her dad had a peg leg, and her mom
fuck the peg
was
leg.
British and looked kind of crazy, but that's neither here nor there. And she had like 1,000 cats. That was like her thing, and everyone was like, "Ugh, Lindsay smells." And then when they did a lice check, she went through everyone, and then the nurse was like, "All right, cool, I'm done. Lindsay, can you come with me?" And the smelly girl had
They had to
lice.
make it that obvious.
And I was like, why did they cook her like that? Now that I think about it, why did that little girl smelled really bad.
Yeah, we had a guy that stunk really bad too.
You're the stinky guy.
Like, everybody
from
had a
kindergarten to
stink
8th grade.
Yeah.
Bruh.
And isn't that child abuse? Now that you
Yeah,
think
why are
back
you
on it?
sending your kid stinking? I thought like, okay, maybe he was just immune to the smell and like, because I think his sister stunk too.
Probably.
But
Whole family stunk.
Yeah.
Whole house stunk.
but now that we're adults, can't you look back and be like, that child was being abused?
And he probably still stinks.
Because why does their kid stink? Why does your kid stink? Wash your kid.
And when you stink that bad, you become immune.
There'd be like certain sleepovers where somebody come over and I'm like, this guy smells. And then have him come over again. But yeah, sometimes.
And they be the one acting like nothing's wrong. Hey guys. I'm like, bro, you're the one that actually stink. You're stinking up the whole place.
I mean, there's a lot of kids that I knew. Like, I remember there's a kid named Ian in 3rd grade, and he just never brushed his teeth. And I remember I like called him out. I was like, bro, your breath smells like ketchup. And then he like wouldn't stop
ketchup?
crying. But I was like, it really stinks. Because we were in like a huddle and we had to talk. And I was like, dude, do
Maybe
you
that
even
helped
brush your
him.
teeth?
Maybe he needed that.
Maybe. Yeah, and I feel like some parents probably don't emphasize like, yo, you need deodorant, you need to brush your teeth every day, you need to shower X amount of times, you need to shower with body wash, not just shampoo and conditioner. Like, I feel like some parents just probably just don't even.
The parents are probably not even doing that either.
Yeah.
That's
and
why
then,
the kid
and
ends
if your
up with
kid doesn't know that they need to be doing that, like, you need to be putting them in check to where it should just be like, yo, no, this is like a basic thing you need to be doing.
And he was like heavier set too, so it's like well, if that
You
part
probably
of
held
their
more-
life isn't lined up, it's like, well, they're probably not. They don't care about hygiene really. And like kids are ruthless though, like especially like when you're younger.
What do you think is the most ruthless grade in
bully
terms
you.
of like bullying and roasting? Like, what's the
Ruthless
ruthless
age?
age for a kid? Because let me say kid, because obviously high school can get,
Yeah, like
it can go either way.
8 to 12, 8 to 13 maybe.
I feel like the 8th grade has to be because kids challenge each other the same way adults in real life.
I feel like
Children,
7th graders are badass too. I feel like 7th, 8th.
They think they're the bigger kids, you know, so they already have that somewhat ego of what they think even ego is.
That's true. That's true. And you finally have your little like, you're conquering over the 7th, 6th graders.
You're all cocky until, you know, you go to high school and then it's like, oh,
Yeah, no, fuck. And you're back. You're a little minnow in the pod.
because there's always a hierarchy in every scenario, every school, every town, every community. There's the most popular kids,
The most attractive kids.
the ones that like
sports.
and then they will challenge each other. And my mom's coworker said that her younger son, who's in middle school, was getting bullied for XYZ reason. And she was asking my mom, because she asked me, do you have any advice for my son? Because he's getting cooked on the playground. I'm like, it's been a minute since I've dealt with the playground bullshit.
Damn,
But
playground bullying.
I was just like, nah, kids will test each other the same way adults will to establish who's the fucking leader. And they intimidate each other and call each other names and are evil to one another. It's insane.
And then you go home and like your parents don't even know how to handle it because like they would get bullied too. Like, you know what I mean?
I was going to say the summer reading ruined every one of my summers my whole life.
Oh, I hated those.
I never read one of them damn books.
No, same.
Old Yeller.
And we'd
Fuck that book.
we'd have a test on like the first day back. And I didn't know shit. And I think that's only when the internet just started having Spark Notes. So I was really 1 week before, I would just read everything I could Google about the book.
And it's like, really, why assign something over summer? Like, really?
Or the
Just wait until we come back.
or like the math teachers too. I'd have like math packets to do. I'm like, why?
Oh, they would give us math
Ain't
packets.
trying to prove as
Ain't
a
they about to have
professor.
homework for the next 200 days anyways? Why are we doing it right now?
And you know what? We're going to go back to the trauma thing. That gave me trauma. I hated books.
See, you just realize it just.
That killed my thirst for knowledge. And now at 27, I'm picking up books again. Books I want to fucking read. They didn't do that. Have the kids pick their own books.
You know, what got me into reading was my 7th grade teacher, because he let the class was already like an hour. He let half the class be just reading. So when I got to do it in the class, that motivated me to read outside of class versus yo, this is your assignment, go do this. But when he actually allowed us to do that in class, it made me feel like, cool, I don't got to stress about we're just taking notes all class and then I got to go fucking read a book on top of that outside.
Did y'all have that kid that would be reading during recess?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like just reading for fun. Just,
Yeah.
just reading.
I'm like, get up, bro. Let's run.
I was running.
It's a different type of person. I know there's viewers watching that were the readers. And shout out to y'all. I wish I could be like that.
I
wish I
envy it
brought
now
people
because that's
on it.
something I need to do now. Everybody just tells me that I know that say they read before they go to bed, they get the best sleep ever. So I need to start doing that.
Should people get over things that are objectively true? For example, I call someone a smoker. This can be provably true. Nobody cares. But if you call someone obese, this is also provably true. But now feelings are involved, blah, blah, blah. So he was asking, why can't we call a spade anymore?
Yeah, because people's feelings are involved.
The world's too sensitive.
Yeah, the world's too sensitive. People are scared to speak up. It's not popular to say the truth. It's popular and like easier to lie to people.
I also feel like we live in such a time where everybody just hates on everything too. So
I heard someone say this. It was like, maybe your feelings aren't valid. And because that's a popular term that people say is, well, your feelings are valid, and feelings. And everyone has feelings, and there's millions of them a day. I thought that was a bar because they were like, maybe you're going through something and you're going to the gym and you feeling this way, and maybe your feelings aren't valid and you should shut the hell up and go to the gym. Oh, I don't want to go today. That's whatever. Invalid, you need to go. Maybe that's not a popular take, but I think people put feelings as the number one priority in the society in terms of everything. Like, it's feelings. You can't say the real thing because then that will hurt someone's feelings. And there's been people have talked more about mental health, which is good, but there might even be an overcompensation to where now that's the only thing. And well, if it hurts someone's feelings, well, then you simply can't speak of it.
And that's what it's turning into. And what it's turned into, because you're not gonna say to someone to their face that they're obese. We're trained to kind of comfort people,
Even if it means destroying them.
even if it means destroying them. I would say, try more to be more upfront, but I guess say it in the right way and package it properly. It's the only way to do it. It's like, you want to be as truthful as you can to if your friend is unhealthy or doing unhealthy habits.
like, you don't need to go up to any obese person like, you're fucking obese. Like if it's your friend, I feel like, you should be able to have that conversation with them.
Yeah, I always get, whenever I talk to people, I'll get the label of, oh, you're being mean. But if I say the sky is blue, you wouldn't label me as a mean person. But if I say XYZ is morbidly obese, you're so mean. I'm like, that. Are you saying that that's bad? Are you saying that morbid obesity is bad? You're labeling it as bad because you're saying that I'm being mean.
Well, yeah, because no one's attached to the sky, so it's like, well, the sky looks bad today. I don't care. It's not. I'm not the sky. But it's like if you say, well, you look bad today, well, then that's attached to someone's feelings in there.
There you go.
And that's why it's bad. It's like, yeah, and that's where bullying comes from, and like you don't want to do that because that can lead, like we were saying earlier, we don't know what people's triggers are. So it's like, yeah, it's better just to be careful and to be nice, right? When it's like,
Yeah, because
it might help
what
them to
everybody
be
at school
mean,
is saying,
but
like, yeah, you're obese, but then that's just throwing that kid into a spiral. Like, is that helping the kid?
it's how you say it.
But
Yeah.
Versus, like you said, is this scenario, this is my friend that's obese, and I'm letting them know, hey, you're obese, and I think you could be doing
Because you
better.
could come at it in a way where it's like, yeah, I care, and
If I see people smoking a cigarette, I don't think I need to tell them, like, that's bad for your lungs, right?
But if you say to a smoker, hey, you're a smoker, that's not insulting.
no.
But if you say to someone who's 600 pounds, you're morbidly obese, now I'm a bad guy. I'm like, I didn't say you're a bad person. I didn't say you're XYZ. I didn't call you a name.
That term is considered to be bad, so people are just gonna
Yeah, they use
morbidly
words.
obese is like, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, that medical term is.
So calling out someone's like bad thing about them is considered to be, you don't do that, like it's mean or whatever.
Even though it's a scientific term,
Yeah,
the same way, oh, you have diabetes.
you wouldn't say that. Like people are insecure about certain things. Like if you have acne, like you're not gonna be like, you have acne, because that's attached to insecurities and the way someone feels
And people's self-image and
people's self-image. Same thing with obesity and this and that.
I always see this whenever there's a controversial video or something. They'll say everyone's hating in the comments, but no one's calling him a liar. Everyone's calling him an asshole, but no one's calling him a liar when someone says something that's objectively true but mean, which I thought was funny. Where it's like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, yeah, no one's refuting what you're saying.
Yeah, and that's the title you get when you package it in the wrong way, like asshole. But you can say it in a way where you're not titled an asshole. Because it's like, yeah, that's like a bully's gonna say, haha, you have a big head. Deep down, I know he has a big head, but it's like you're not gonna point it out.
Yeah. And now that everything's offensive, yeah, now it's like, what do you even say anymore?
And you don't know what people can control and can't. Like, last question for the podcast.
This one, they ask, at what point do you give up on something? When should you know when to give up?
I'll say 3 years.
If it ain't working 3 years.
So, like, you were going hard for 3 years. Like, yeah. No, I think that happens because there's a lot of people that
That's reasonable.
I had a lot of
honestly.
cousins that thought they were going to be famous musicians and like, oh yeah, Brandon moved to fucking California to pursue it. Now he's in Utah and ain't doing none of that.
Like if you gave it your all and you truly tried your best for 3 years straight,
Like
and it
that's
didn't
enough
work out,
time. That's
move on.
enough time. Like if you were dedicating your craft, you tried everything you could, shit didn't pan out,
Or if you got a change of heart or something.
yeah, you just might not have it.
Because like you can do it for years and still not pop off, but if that's what you truly love to do, then shit.
People be saying like go all in on something. I feel like you still have something that's stable, but then work towards, try to make time for both, and then hopefully you can transition over to something. But
Yeah, right. Because you see it all the time online where it's like you see someone trying to do something, but where it's like, that ain't you.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
never gonna work out.
yeah.
But it's like, are you the person to tell someone to stop following their dreams? It's like when it comes to something like that, it's like I guess you got to let him figure it out for himself in a way.
And not to be cocky, but most times I'll be right when I see like somebody starting out to do something. I'm like, I know that's not going to work. 'Cause I
Like,
don't know
you didn't even start out
Like I know
right.
you're excited because you want to do this, but this is like a 2-week flame, 2-month flame, and most of the times that's what happens that I witness. And that's not to be mean to that person or people. It's just when people be giving up on stuff, I feel like you should only give up like if you knew you gave it everything.
But how do you be realistic when you're delusional? And I think that's the case for a lot of people is that they're delusional. Where it's like, damn, bro, you've been doing this for 5 years.
But there's
and
people that have
it's
been doing it
not
for 5
working.
years completely wrong. And like I can't exactly tell them what they're doing right, but like I just
And they
know
think it's right though.
Yeah, but you've just been doing it wrong the whole time. Like the fact that you haven't even been able to move even 400 meters from where you begun, it's like that's the issue.
I was going to say never give up on something if your heart is in it. Like Rob said, if your heart is saying, I still love this, then do it. Do it until you are in the soil. But I was going to say, if you have a new endeavor that you're wanting to get into, commit to 3 years. And if you see no progress, then you can consider giving up. And if you're like, you know what, 3 years went into this, there hasn't been an inch of movement and my heart's, I don't care for this anymore, then you can give up. That's my 3 cents.
But yeah, I feel like your heart might fall out of it if you know you're not.
You might get into something else, and that's the case too for some people. Or because there's no right answer, right? You see people blowing up at certain ages, like after the fact or whatever.
Yeah, and if they never will blow up, but they believe they will, it's like, okay, they have a delusional belief that great.
And if to them they're moving the needle, then well, yeah, what can I say about it? Success and failure is differently perceived by everybody too, right? People can be like, damn, y'all been doing YouTube for 10 years and you're still not whatever successful compared to any other creator like Mr. Beast or whatever like that.
Yeah,
So
you
it's
can
like,
say that. Mr. Beast is younger than y'all. How are you guys not on his level?
3 years, it gives people a long enough time to, you can get a lot done in 3 years and make a lot of progress. And that's long enough for you to potentially really see results. And it's not short enough to where you want to quit all like, I've been at it for a year and a half and it hasn't blown up yet. It's like, you got to at least give it 3.
And you have to be realistic with, what even good progress is, because, you can do it for 3 years and think you've had good progress. But, realistically, statistically, compared to different creators and how it works,
That's
that
what I'm
ain't
saying.
really working.
You're going to have a whole bunch of goals and goalposts and checkpoints that you're keeping yourself accountable for. If you're not doing that and you're doing the whole, I'm just delusional and I think this is going great, well, then, yeah, we can't help you to begin with. You have to already understand that. What does it mean to be successful and not give up at X amount? Like, what does this mean? You want to make a lot of money from this? You want to be super skilled at this? Like you want to be the best? Yeah, you're gonna have to write out the goals and set a plan of action because, you can just do something.
Yeah, because if money's your goal and you're not making any money in 3 years, probably
There you
quit,
go.
do something else.
That's your
But if you love it, it's like, why even quit? Just keep doing it. Who cares
as
about
long
the
as
money?
you're measuring it, like if you can measure from day 1 to year 3, that's how you can tell.
And this field is cool because it constantly changes and allows us to grow and change with it too, and try new things and experiment and
Yeah,
stuff
we're
like
measuring our
that.
shit in our own way. This podcast needs to be measured in 3 years to make sure that it's on track to make sure it can go as long as it possibly can.
Yeah, right. If it didn't grow in 3 years, it's like, well, then is it even smart for us to dedicate time out of our weeks to do this?
Whenever I see people who want to be YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever, and I see them give up or fail, or they just stop posting because it was too hard, I'm like, yeah, just because their heart wasn't in it. That's the difference between us and them. Well, how'd you guys get this many subs? Because my heart was in it, and I don't want to do anything else. Is all I want to do.
Post all the time without people even watching. Like, there was a point where I would post vlog. I remember like recording and uploading like videos every day about like things that happened in my life, and no one even cared, But people like say, hey, I've been doing YouTube for 3 months and it hasn't been working 5 months. I'm like, try 2 years, 3 years. I mean, you obviously don't want to do it if you're not doing it, So it's like,
Yeah, I can tell you don't care about it. I can tell your heart isn't actually in it, and you don't actually care about it. Because if you did, you wouldn't be coming to me after, it's been stagnant for 4 months. Well, me and Noah were just making stuff for how many hundreds of videos did we make that didn't even get posted on YouTube because we just like making videos.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing is people also be looking for the results too quickly. Like we live in an age where everything's so fast. I need to see it. No, and that's the reality. If you want to strive for 1.4 million subscribers like we have, it took 7 years. Like like this isn't something that you should be upset about. If man, I didn't even get to 1,000 subs after a year. Maybe it's gonna take your channel too.
maybe you're in it for the wrong reasons,
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of stuff takes a lot longer than people think, and there's a lot of mundane days that can feel very stagnant. But as long as you're actually measuring what the goal is and how you can get closer to it, you have to see it through before everybody else. You just have to see it through.
And I'm just going to end with my word of the day. It's a word that I've been thinking about recently.
Rhino's word of the day is
Omnipotent.
omnipotent. I've heard that word before.
You guys know what that means?
It's like something that has to be always good and always bad.
It's like multiple different, I'm thinking omni.
Omni means, I think,
What is
like
omni?
everywhere or something?
Everywhere?
Or widespread or some shit, the prefix. Omnipotent is one who has unlimited power or authority.
Yeah, I've heard people reference that word to God before.
So next time, so y'all can use that in your next thing when you're talking with someone. What do you think, you're some omnipotent being? And then you get cooked for sounding too formal.
Yeah, I gotta practice saying that one because it's like a tongue twister, a little like omnipotent.
Yeah, I gotta see who can accompany me to some party this weekend. I'm gonna hit up some friends.
If anyone wants to accompany me to a party, we're going to act omnipotent when we get in there. Because we run that shit.
Omnia nightclub. Does that have anything to do with it?
Let me look at what the prefix omni means. The prefix omni is a Latin word meaning all or every. It appears in many English words, including omnipotent, omniscient, omnivorous, and omnipresent. Omnipresent, I like that word too. Means appearing to be everywhere at the same time. I'm trying to be omnipresent on YouTube. The McDonald's seem to be omnipresent everywhere I go. I see them. Instead of saying like, oh, another McDonald's on every corner, these McDonald's seem to be omnipresent. I'm trying to elevate shit.
Yeah, that could be good.
He's onto something.
I'm onto something.